Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday night stamping here with me. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. I've had a really busy one. I've been camping. We've had lots of fun. The weather has been amazing, really warm, but I'm really tired. Look at the bags under my eyes, aren't they awful? We've had a wonderful time and the girls have loved every second, but yeah, tired now, so I'm off to bed after this. We'll wait for a few people to hop on. I can see lots of people are joining. I can barely keep up with the comments. We've got Hilary, hi. Bev, hi. Who else have we got? Gina, hi. Denise, hi. Christine, hi. And there's some people that I can't see there, so hello. So this week I have been bringing you lots of, I've done you 3 actually, this is the 3rd one. Live tutorials on how to use the new Peace and Joy bundle. So Peace and Joy is a stamp set that looks like this. Apologies that it's back to front, and it's really fun. It's part of our August to December mini catalogue, and you can purchase it as a bundle and save yourself 10% with the Joy dies, which are here. So yeah, I'm going to show you a 3rd card for the week with these products, and I'm going to show you how to use clear embossing powder. So a lot of people say to me, I know what white's for, I know what silver's for, I get all the different embossing powders, but what I'm not sure about is why do we have clear? So I'm going to answer those questions tonight for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pause the live, flip my camera around so you can see my desk, and then we will get crafting. I'm also using tonight some nice silver foil, which I always forget about foil, but I've recently been reminded of it, so bear with. Okay, so here is my desk. Simple colours tonight, guys. I've gone for a really soft colour palette of grey, silver and white. I've shown you a few different colour combinations this week. Some traditional, some not so traditional. I would say this is quite a traditional, quite a modern traditional colour scheme. But I quite like it. I quite like how simple it is. So what I've done on this card, and I'm trying to hold it to the light so you can see the shine. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stamp with clear embossing powder onto smoky slate card, which is what I've done with this holly leaf. Now this holiday, I've got holiday on the brain, guys. This holly leaf is from an old faithful stamp set from last year called Christmas Gleaming. Now this was actually my favourite stamp in the catalogue, in the mini catalogue last Christmas. This one right here. I think I coloured it about 1,000,001 times. Love it. But I want to show you something a bit different with it. So to start with, I have got a Whisper White card base. This is half a sheet of A4, scored 10.5 centimetres and then folded in half. Scored 10.5 centimetres all the way from top to bottom, and then cut at 14.9 centimetres. Then you get 2 book fold card bases. I have a smoky slate layer. Now this measures 9 centimetres by 13.4, and this is 3mm bigger. So this is 9.3 centimetres by 13.7 centimetres. It's a really subtle layered look. Okay, I didn't want too much of that foil showing, so it mounts up like so. But we're going to do our stamping first before we actually do our sticking. Okay, so I have here just a piece of copy paper. The reason I'm using this is because if I use the Versamark is sticky, which is what we need for embossing powder, and I don't want to make my grid paper sticky. So for heat embossing, I've got a heat tool. I have a Versamark ink pad. This is a sticky ink pad, so it makes our embossing powder stick. And I have some clear embossing powder. So this is how it comes. Nice little tub. You'll find that will last a really good amount of time. and then I have an embossing buddy. Now we don't actually sell these anymore, but you can use a tumble dryer sheet. The reason we use one of these is that it takes off all the static, the invisible static that we can't see off our card. The reason we do that is because we want our embossing powder to only stick to what we've stamped. If we don't take off that static, we'll end up with little specks of embossing powder that have stuck, and this is the only way to get rid of it. So you can use a tumble dryer sheet. So just lightly go over your card where you're going to stamp with your embossing buddy or your tumble dryer sheet. And then what we're going to do is we have our stamp, which looks like this. I'm just going to make sure it's clean, cleanish. And then to start with, we are going to stamp randomly on our background. So you'll be able to see that the Versamark will leave an image, which is great, which means we can see where we are stamping. And then just randomly across this card front, I am going to just repeatedly stamp this holly image so that we have a really good background coverage. Little one down there, and then to finish we'll have this there like so. Just try to put the lid on the stamp, not quite sure what that's about. Okay, so with our embossing powder, we are going to start in one corner. We're just going to lay on a little bit of powder, and then you're going to move that across your card so that it covers all of that stamping. Okay, you want to have this copy paper underneath to catch it, or you'll end up with embossing powder everywhere. And then just give it a little tap like so, and you can see, or you can just about see, that's no longer shiny, that's now powdery. So quickly I'm going to just pop the embossing paste back in our little pot, and then we're going to heat the whole card with our heat tool to set that embossing powder. Okay, so just try not to touch any of where it's powdery, and I'll hold this up to the camera and you'll see this go shiny. There we have it, it's just starting to turn. So when that goes shiny, it means it's set. And we'll just do that for all of our stamping. Like so. I still love embossing, I think it's one of the best techniques. Careful you don't burn your fingers. So that's nearly all set. And then our last one. Okay. So there we have our clear embossed holly. So you could say, why didn't you just stamp that in Smoky Slate? The reason I didn't do that is because look at that lovely shine. And we love a bit of shine on a Christmas card, and it adds a nice texture as well. So it's quite bumpy, and we love a bit of texture on our cards. Now before I stick that on, I want to just break up some of that background of grey. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use the large felt tip end of a stamping blend. This is a dark Smoky Slate stamping blend, and I'm just going to pop the nib inside the lid and then push against it, and you'll see that you get a nice ink splatter. Okay, that lovely stamping, and I'm now splattering all over it. So it just breaks up that background ever so slightly. Can you see that? And look at that shine. Ooh, Christmas is coming. And now what we can do is we can attach this to our base layer. Okay, and I'm just going to use Tombow for this. For those of you that follow my page, you may have seen that yesterday, it might have been the day before actually, I'm a bit lost with my days while we've been away, I posted a little poll about what people think about glue. So if you didn't see that, scroll back through and have a little look. It's quite interesting to see what people's preferences are. I'll never ever try to recommend a glue over another. Everyone likes what they like. My favourite, as you all know, is Tombow. This is the liquid glue that Stampin' Up sell. It is brilliant, I love it. And of course Dimensionals, they are probably my most used too. Still getting to grips with Stamping Seal, but I shall not give up. Now, we're going to tie round some ribbon. So you'll see on this, I've added just a cute little bow. And this ribbon is the shimmer ribbon. What colour is it? Grey Granite shimmer ribbon. So grey granite is just a slightly different tone of grey, but I actually think it goes really nicely with this card. It has got a little shimmer to it because it's called shimmer ribbon. Funny that. And yeah, I just quite like it. So I showed you a really useful technique with ribbon on Monday, but for those of you that missed it, I'm going to repeat it because I love it. So to do this, what we're going to do is we will need a piece of ribbon that is ever so slightly longer than your card, and we're going to wrap it, just tuck it round. So once you're happy with where that goes, so I want that to go roughly about there, turn it over, and then you want 2 pieces of washi tape or double-sided. Okay, and then all you're going to do is fold it over so that it's nice and secure, and then pop your washi tape down so that it's in place. Okay, and then do the same that side. Okay, now the reason I've done that is because what I want to do is I want this little bow to be here, but if I was to tie that round and try and secure it, you can guarantee the bow will never be where I need it to be. So what we'll do now is we'll stick this to the front of our card. Move my camera out a bit again. And this, it leaves a really nice wide border around the edge of our card. And I'm actually going to stick this on with some dimensionals. Okay, so just do in each corner, and then I will do one there and one there. I am a bit thrifty with my dimensionals. They are my favourite thing ever. So we'll just peel those off. Oops. And we will stick this on like so. Okay, so there we have our little card front starting to build. Now this bow, we're going to leave the ribbon on the reel. It's also quite it saves you quite a lot of ribbon doing it this way, and we're going to tie a little bow whilst it is still on the reel, I hope. Nope, I need to just move my fingers along a little bit. There we have it. And then just keep pulling it until you are happy with how that bow looks, and then we're just going to snip off our ends like so. So there we have a cute little bow. Okay, I much prefer bows this way. I find it a lot less stressful. And then that bow is going to go on there, but we're not going to stick it down until we've done this piece here. So for that we will need our joy dies, and I am going to use the detailed piece die and the next size up. So the way that these dies work is that you have a detailed one like so, which is there I've cut from silver, and then you have the outline of that, which I've cut in white, which is the next size up. And then there's even, if you wanted to, I haven't used it on this card, but there is a background die. So they look really fab when they're all mounted together. But I'm just going to use the detailed one and the outline one. So for my detailed one, I should have on my desk a piece of foil. Oh no, it's on my big shot. So this is the silver foil card. This comes in 12 by 12 sheets. You get 2 sheets in a pack. And we're just going to lay that on there. And then we will need a scrap of Whisper White as well. So this is my scrap box. Quite often asked, what do you keep your scraps in? So for my white, my black and my vanilla, I keep them in the stamp cases. This is a double stamp case. And you can see my little scrap box like so. So we can do both of these at the same time. And I am just going to secure it with a little bit of washi. Oh, I'm nearly at the end of this roll. No. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that down. And then I'm going to run these through my big shot, which is just behind me on my trolley. Sorry, it's not a big shot. I've got to stop saying that. Deary me. I'm going to run it through our Stampin cut and emboss machine, which is our new die cutting machine. So you wheel this through, and then in here, so this is our outline, like so, and then this is our detailed die. Denise, I'm so organised. I am when I want to be. Some things I'm really organised with, and other things not so much. But I did just do a big craft room tidy, so it would be bad if I wasn't organised right now. Okay, so we have here, this is our little detailed die cut from the silver foil, really like that, and then this is our outline. Okay, now I could have used our adhesive sheets, but I didn't use them. So if you don't have adhesive sheets and you're thinking, how on earth am I going to attach that to the outline, just use teeny tiny little dots of wet glue. And you can barely see where I'm putting this because Tombow is so sticky. Can you see that? Tombow is so sticky. And then we're just going to carefully, because you don't want to end up in a big sticky mess. Oh, our car alarm is going off. Who knows why? I hope Darren can hear that. So just manoeuvre this until you are happy. That's it. I'm happy with that. So there we have peace. Okay. So this we're going to stick down on our card. And I'm going to... Oh, it stopped. Well done. He did hear it. I'm going to stick this down with some mini dimensionals because we want to raise it ever so slightly. Right. And then now we're going to stick that down just so that it's on that ribbon. Okay. Like so. So look at the way that catches the light. You've now got the light of the foil, light on the foil, and you've got the shine on the clear embossed holly behind. And then we can now pop on our little bow, and I'm just going to cut that little bit off, cut that a little bit shorter there. That's better. And he is going to be stuck down with a glue dot. Oops. So these are, I almost forgot about glue dots yesterday when I posted about my glue pole. But glue dots are also really handy. So there we have our little bow like so. Ooh, rhymes. And now we've got some more stamping to do. So I've shown you one technique with the clear embossing powder. So that is clear embossing done on a smoky slate cardstock. And now I'm going to show you how to emboss with your regular ink pads. So I'm bringing back in my bit of copy paper, and I need some more scrap of Whisper White. So if you want, for example, and this isn't a great colour to show you with, but say if you wanted red embossing, you think, how on earth am I going to manage that? Well, you can do it with our ink pads. So you will need your embossing muddy or your tumble dryer sheet to just rub that across your card. It just takes off the static. And then you are going to need your image, and you need to be quite quick with this technique because you need to add your embossing powder while the ink is still wet on your stamping. So this is a smoky slate ink pad, and we're going to stamp using that like so. And now really quickly we're going to add our embossing powder to that. So you can barely even see that, but now watch. When we heat that with our heat tool, it will go shiny. It will do, I promise. There you are, it's just starting to go. You see that's just going dark. Okay. So that's just setting, there we have it. So I didn't choose a very good colour to demonstrate this to you, but I'm going to try and get this to catch the light. There we have it. So that is now smoky slate embossing, and that's using your regular ink pads and then clear embossing powder. So you have to be quite quick when you add your embossing powder, but I think that's a really lovely technique. There, it's just catching the light. Can you see that? Okay. So what I've done with that is I have coloured it in. I could just attach that below, but I'm not going to. So for this, I'm going to colour it in with our stamping blends, and this is light smoky slate. Now what this does to your stamping is obviously it raises your stamping lines. So if you're not very good at colouring in and going out, you're terrible at going over the edges, this gives you an extra boundary to stop you going over. And then I'm using the darker one just to add a bit of shading in there. And then while I'm there, I'm just going to colour these berries in with the dark. So the reason I'm colouring those in is because actually you can't see them. I just want to see those holly leaves. So I could actually cut them off, but and I'm just going over with the light to just blend that in ever so slightly. Okay, it's a little holly, and then I'm going to cut around this. You're probably thinking, why has she coloured that in grey? But I promise you it didn't look great with just white, because you then lost the piece. So yeah, if you have some clear embossing powder, have a practice with your ink pads. So for example, if you wanted, no, sorry, lost my train of thought now. So yeah, if you have clear embossing powder and you're thinking, what on earth do I do with that? You can actually use that with your ink pads to get coloured embossing. If you don't have any clear embossing powder and want to give it a go, you can always add it onto your next order. Our embossing powders last really, really well. I believe I think they're £4.75 now, but I might be wrong. have a check in the catalogue. I'll link all the products after this on my blog for you. So if you do have any questions or want to check anything, you can. Okay, so now we have our little holly leaves. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach that. I'm going to cut that off just there. That's better. I'm going to attach that in there like so. And to do that, just a little bit of Tombow on the bottom. And then I'm tucking that in behind the ribbon. Okay, like so. And then what that does is that leaves the leaves actually free. So again, you've just got a little bit more texture and dimension on your card. And then we have one last thing to do on our card front. And that is a little bit more embossing. This time we're going to use white embossing powder, and I've actually got, this says On Earth, so we've got Peace and then we'll add On Earth. So you've seen that this is how the embossing powders come. It's quite fiddly with the copy paper, isn't it? So what I actually do is I buy these tubs. I think you get 10 for £1 in the pound shop, and I just decant my embossing powder into them because it's just less messy, and anything that is less messy gets my vote. So this is just scrap black card, and then I can't even really see that, and all I do is I just dip it in then, and then we have it. It's a lot less messy, better. Okay, so that's a really nice look, and then we'll just heat this to set it. There we go. So with the white embossing powder, that goes quite bright, and it's also got a teeny tiny little shine to it as well. Okay, put my lid back on that. Sorry, I've just lost my little embossing. And then for this I will add on a little mini dimensional, and then this is going on there like so. So that is our card front all finished. I have left it blank inside. Now that feels really, really flimsy. So to change that, I am going to add in a bit of extra card. So I'm just bringing in my trimmer. So we want to mirror our measurements. So we know that this measures 13.7 centimetres by 9.3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we want a piece of Whisper White that is just ever so slightly smaller than that. Just grabbing that from my little box. Okay, so we want 3mm smaller than that. So we want 9 centimetres. Oh, that's already pretty much 9. I'm just going to recut that. I didn't cut very well at all. Okay, let's try this again, girls and boys. We want 9 centimetres, which it is, by 13.4, which it is not. Okay. And then for this, we can just stamp on the bottom. And we're going to do some plain stamping now. So we've got 3 different types of stamping there. We'll just add one of those in the bottom, like so. And I'm not going to colour that in, I'm going to leave that blank. So we can attach that to that like so. I do like my measurements to be symmetrical on the outside and inside. And then this one we're going to stick down with some Tombow as well. Okay, so there we have our finished card this evening. So I've shown you how to use some clear embossing powder tonight. I have done that with the background, so we've embossed with Versamark and clear embossing powder, so that just gives a really nice shine to our stamping. And then I've added a little bow. I've shown you a really simple but effective technique with tying your ribbon round and then adding your bow after. We've got a little bit of die cutting there with some foil to match our layering behind, and then we've done some clear embossing with your regular stamping pads. Okay, and then we finished off with a bit of monochrome heat embossing on our sentiment. So that's me done for you this evening, guys. That's been using the Peace and Joy stamp set, available in our August to December mini catalogue right now. The dies are also part of that bundle. If you purchase them together, you will save 10%. I will update my blog shortly and have all the products listed for you. So if you have any questions or you're not sure what I've used, it will all be on there. There is the hostess code at the top of my Facebook page and on my blog as well. If you use the hostess code with orders between £25 and £149 in September, you will get a free combo pack of ribbons in October as a thank you from me. Any questions, as always, guys, please let me know. I'm always here. I'll be live this week on my regular day, so Monday at 12:30. It's my first round of my Christmas coffee and Christmas cards, and Wednesday night will be regular Wednesday night stamping, and then on Sunday as well. So that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Hope you have lovely weeks, and I hope to speak to you all very soon. Take care now. Bye.